Hey, what's good, Authentics? Welcome to yet another impactful episode of the People's Journal, where authentic stories are told by real people. I'm your host and driver, Pac-Man, Mr. 925, Intambo Yomtlakasi, White Tizochokega. First and foremost, man, as I always say, I'd like to give a huge shout out to everybody that's been following the podcast, everybody that's been showing love, everybody that's been supportive of this journey. And we're back with another yet impactful episode where we will be discussing things that are impacting Africa, and this brother that I'm sitting with, he's not only just someone that's new to the podcast, but he's a People's Journal alumni. He's a healer, he's a songwriter, he's a lot of things, man. He's a theater practitioner, theater performer, he's an MC, he's a performing artist. And he goes by the name of Mzilankhatha. The last time we heard from Mzilankhatha was when we did Imvelaphi EP.
Yebo.
So welcome back to the podcast, my friend.
Awusukanini madoda. Siyakhanja kubuye ekhaya. Uhambe ekhaya uphinde ubuye. So mfethu, nami sekuphinde ngabuya ke. Ngazisho ibongo before ngisazisho manje sebeyazazi.
Mara think kubalekile ukuthi sometimes abantu kube ubakhumbuze,
remind.
Yes.
Umzilankhatha okhambula umlotshwa umthombeni osiyoba umalandela ilanga lize liyoshona emancubeni. Ongathi akayingena endlini yangena kubolinka zabantwana nkomo zilala uwaciza amadojana zilala amankengane. Umpangazithi uMagasolo nina abasebuhleni ubungancakazi enadle embeleni wenkomo ongafaneke kwakumele udliwa abalandakazi. Inkosi ayiqedwa ngisuka le kwaZulu eThekwini ngaphansi kwesilo sinesilo ke manje umisizulu kaZwelithini kamdlokombane kandaba ovukudla amadoda uze inhlonhlongo nkomo linywaziba ubathi mhlaba kawulalele lo muntu omemezayo sengathi uyakhala uyalila uthi igula likandaba lichithekile lachithwa ingqwele endala yakithi kamalandela bathi ubuthelezi unesibindi okukhathazela umuntu ajama yebo bemthuka bemgcokofela bethi uZwelithini akayubusa kayube inkosi kade bamgcoba ngamafutha empipho yakithi kamalandela usodidasa inkonyane encane yandaba edidi imbala inkosi ayiqedwe ibinda zule liphezulu siphakathi
bayeti.
Wena wendlovu.
Now welcome, man. Welcome to like asibonge basically, for coming back and blessing us with your knowledge. We know Guti, out of this episode there's a lot of wisdom that we are going to gain out of your wisdom, because there was so much episode, but we couldn't finish them.
Yeah.
So now we are back. I think one thing that stood out for me was May 25, Begui Africa Day.
Yeah.
So, but before we get into that, I mean, because it's been a minute. I think the last time we must record an episode, we were during lockdowns and so how's life been after that?
Impilo mfowethu iyaqhubeka iyaphambili, singakhala phela ngoba kuhlala ekukhalwa, kodwa iyaqhubeka iyaphambili. Nanokukhula ke mfowethu ngibelieve ekutheni ukhulu usuku nosuku yabo. Mhlambe ingxoxo esasinayo last time namhlanje izokhula, it won't be the same, because nomuntu njalo uyakhula. Ingane siyibona manje yenza okuthize njengoba nje unana esiculela lapha yangemuva ejabule. So kuba naloko kukhula ngazo zonke izikhathi yabo. So nami ngihambile ngakhula ngafunda ezinye zezinto, ngabona kwayingqinamba engihlangabezana nazo ngayinqoba nani, because njengoba usho ukuthi amehila abanye abazi ukuthi mawukhuluma ngehila mhlambe ukhuluma ngesimo esinjani yabo, but mina I heal spiritually yabo. Mhlambe that's why nezinkulumo zami zithi mayithinta iphinde ithinte spiritual, because I'm also a healer yabo. So ukuphila nje kwabantu, so akugcini ngokuphila engomeni, baphile emphefumulweni, baphile financially nazo zonke lezo zinto, ngoba na financial siyadinga ukuphila mfowethu. Indaba ayingagcini ngokuthi siphile spiritually, siphile musically nani. At the end of the day na financial we need to grow. Yabo kunaleyo ndime ebalekile ukuthi asinaki, kodwa we really need to grow spiritually and financially na physically and mentally.
Yeah, so you were saying, Guti, like we not only need to grow spiritually, but we need to also grow financially, which I feel like it's a very important aspect, you know, because especially for Tina Bantabantundu, Tina Bantabamnyama, you know, whereby like more bigger, like even our current economic state, you know, like we are so like we are, but you know, what's the right term? We are not included, you know, into these plans, into this economy. So we are always trying to force, you know, making it, and that's why kuna ma corruptions and. But we'll get into that, you know. I wanted to find out your opinion since 25 May. Obviously, it was Africa Day. It was Africa Day, and on Africa Day, which is celebrated 25 May. So they say Africa Day, you know, is celebrated to celebrate diversity and success, to highlight the cultural and economic potential that exists on the African continent. You know, so I wanted to get your perspective around it, since umuntu like you've got your nails and claws, you know, Guma Africa, and things that relate to the African diaspora, and things that relate to Amasiko, things that relate to cultural, things that relate or affect Africans mostly. That has been your message, that has been your journey. So what is your opinion around that, and how did you celebrate that?
Okay, African Day, kumina it's go back as Heritage Day.
Okay.
So mina personally, I have ama holidays that I don't celebrate.
Okay.
At all. Mhlawumbe uzozibuza omunye ukuthi why, because sometimes I have this feeling yokuthi a holiday you celebrate it once, then after that it's gone the whole year. So I always find difficult for me ukuthi ngiz express only one day, then the whole month, the whole year I'm not expressing myself. Ngilokhunja ngibuyela back to indaba yokuthi ke manje I am ngoba mhlambe people get confused mangabe ngizokhuluma indaba yamasiko nesintu. People think isintu izinto zokugqoka, biye Zulu, biye Sotho, sina xuma, singmaskandi nazo zonke lezo zinto izinto eziba around ezilekelela usiko nesintu, but esingasho ukuthi ziwusiko straight. Usiko mfowethu ngiye ngithi mina uyaliphila indlela okhule ngayo.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle, indlela okhule ngayo. Yabo njengoba unomntwana wentombazana, memezokhula azusike uyazi ukuthi ingane yentombazana ayigqoki kanje. Already sekuusiko lolo, into akhula nayo ukuthi ukuhlonipha, ukumaza omunye umuntu, indlela yokukhuluma, ukuthi kunamagama waqoqayo uma uzokhuluma nomunye umuntu because uyamhlonipha. So people think uzofika ufaka imvunulo, ugqoke mhlambe izingubo zakho zabasotho ne, then go around uthuka abantu, weyisa abantu, uphuza utshwala, ubambe ngamabhodlela nani nazo zonke lezo zinto. Then at the end of the day belingekho usiko lapho, ubugqokile nje as a part yokuthi kunento ewusiko ehamba kanje, yabo, but lento uyayiphila. That's why mangisuke ngikhuluma ngeindaba zosiko noma zesintu ngithi mina kwesinye isikhathi we don't need, angisuke ngisho ngithi mangikhuluma ngamasiko asine namhlanje asinjanjani. Ayithi ngibona namhlanje ngifake i-shorts, ngifake i-jacket nani of which is mawungangibuka there is nothing to me representa usiko, yabo. But the only time uzobona ukuthi lo muntu uyazazi ukuthi uba, it's when I open my mouth bese uthi yazi lo muntu, that's why kuthiwa don't judge a book by its cover. Yazi lo muntu umuntu kanje. So omunye umuntu engangena la endlini and don't respect you because akawubona umqhele ekhanda lakho nani, but mase kuzwa ukhuluma athi because usiko nesintu it teach you humanity, ubuntu. ukwazi ukuthi umakhelwane wakho ulale edleni usiko lolo ngoba ingakho kwezinye izimo ngingamhloniphi mina umuntu okhulumela ukudla because ukudla insila yamazilo ihlazo ukuthi ingane yakho itshena ukuthi akuthi mangena umuntu ifihla isitshe sifake ngaphansi kombhede ihlazo le because insila yamazinyo lesisho njalo isiZulu sithi uyadla udle usuthe uhambe uye elokhunjeni endlini yangaphandle ufike ulokho so uthulule so akuyona into ongaze uyikhulumele noma incishe so manje mawuqala uthi ingane yakho ayifaka isitsha ngaphansi kombhede ulahla isiko lapho mawuqala uthi ingane yakho ayingamhloniphi umuntu omdala izimele basi ngoba ungaba nemvululo yakho uyigqoka uphelele ube umZulu kodwa manje mawuthola ukuthi uhluleka ukuhlonipha umuntu omdala uhluleka ukugudluka mangabe edinga indawo yokuhlala bese yahlala so sothini lapho sothi kunosiko cha usiko it not about ugiya uyitshena ukuthi hey mina ngumZulu ngowakabani bani izenzo ezikhombisa ukuthi la kunosiko nesintu.
Sure, that's a product. Yeah, and because also like the last time I saw you posting, I think it was a brand vele called Usiko, ne? Amasiko. Where it's branded around cultural patterns, you know. So I mean, speaking of this definition where it says also celebrating a success yabantu abamnyama or success yama Africa. What's your opinion in terms of the success yabantu abamnyama currently?
It's there, but it needs to grow. Isayidinga is abantu abamnyama lento ethu ubuntu because we won't go hungry if usingabantu abamnyama singayunayithana. We won't go hungry if we can support amabhizinisi abantu abamnyama lawa enzakala ngoba nansi fact mfowethu, this is the fact ekumele siyimele. Kunezinto osikweni lethu noma esintwini sethu engeke isabuyela. We need to use lama laptop nalama mics esinawo to build, to unite. That's why namhlanje sine podcast ozothi umunye meyilalele imfundise something. Ngaleso sikhathi imfundisa something yenzelani, yenzela ukuthi akwazi ukugrowa ngezinto esesinazo ke manje. Yabo ukuthi how do we grow? Endulo besebenzisa ihashi ukuze ukwazi ukudlulisa umyalezo endaweni ethize. Now we have a car. Senza kanjani ukuthi le moto ke ibe yithuluzi lethu kuyisintu ukwazi ukuthi sisizane sisodwa.
So it's profound ukuthi like efana nalento bebanokusitshela yona esikoleni ukuthi mawuya ukuyofunda, you not only just going there ukuyofundela wena, but you there ukuyofundela your community, because when you come back from their institution you have to give back to the community.
Ibuyela like 10 mina. That's why I always say mangabe ngifundisa abantu spiritually ngithi umsamo womndeni, it's not for individual. Kuyiphutha elikhulu ukuthi uzikhulumele wena wedwa emsamo. Okay, kungaba nalo msebenzi o specific ekuthinini ngizozenzela mina ukuthi nokuthi, but you need to understand ukuthi umsamo umele umuntu oyedwa, umele umndeni. Ngalesikhathi ufuna umsamo wondle wena kuphela, ugibelise wena kuphela imoto, you become greedy, wenza ukuthi umndeni wakho ungabi nayo impumelelo. Ungabi nayo impumelelo awukwazi ukwenza kumina impumelelo uhlulo ukuyenza emndenini wakho. There is no way ukuthi uzokwenza impumelelo kumina uyihluleke. Umsamo uthi hlanganisa umndeni,
begins at home.
Umsamo usho njalo uthi hlanganisa umndeni, wena uhluleke ukuhlanganisa umndeni and you expect ukuthi uhlanganise i-community. This thing grows like a child. You need to grow nayo ibe kuwena wazi ukuthi kukanje into ethiza ngiyenzi kanje, because when we go back isibuka nalendaba yokuthandaza ngezulwini bathi ukuthemeleza, we go back ekuthenini umuntu mayethandaza wayisuke engasithandazeli yena, wawungathi inkosi yamakhosi ngicela imoto. No, asilungisela. Wawungathi inkosi yamakhosi ngicela imoto. Ingakho emandulo kwakuneyintombi ekwakuthiwa mayisingana imvula zihlangane ziyocela imvula entabeni, okusho ukuthi makuzothandazwa wawuthandazela isizwe nemndeni, wawungasithandazeli wena individual ukuthi mina nkosi ngicela ukuthi uthi mawuthandaza uthi inkosi mina isifiso sami ukuthi ngiphumelele esikolweni, kodwa nasemndenini kunabantu abafisa okuthize nokuthize nabo ngicela ubaphumelelise kulokho abakucelayo. Yila umthandazo wakho wenza ubunye bese uyazwakala, kodwa mawufuna ukuthi mina kuphela usane ngeke.
Yo. Yes, so ungibuyisela kwenye concept. I think that's why, you know, there's the saying if you want to go far, you know, I'm not sure ukuthi ngisho right, but it says if ufuna ungayikude uhamba uyi1, but if ufuna
ukuya kude, yeah kunjalo. So manje ke kuyaphoqa ukuthi into mayihlangene niba namandla amaningi mangabe nihlangene, kodwa mawufuna ukuthi uzenzele wedwa iba nenkinga. Ingakho kufana nasemasontweni. Umfundisi ukubona ukuthi uvulelwa ubani enkonzweni, uvulelwa ibandla licula lilindele ukumamkela. Ubezokwazi ukuziculela ukuze akwazi ukwamukeleka.
Cha.
And ngalesikhathi ecula that way spirit uplifteka. Ngalesikhathi uplifteka by spirit. Abazalwane.
Yes.
So mawukuthi bebengekho, who was gonna uplift the spirit? Even nasebungomeni we go back, inginabantu ekumele bakushayile isigubhu nani ukuze ukwazi imoya yakho ukuphakama. Nazo zonke lezo zinto kusuke kuzoba ubani kusuke ezokushayela lezo igubhu. Ngeke uzenzele wena yonke into. Kunezinto ezizodinga abanye abantu ukuthi bakulekelele in order to for you to go forward.
That's so true. I mean, seeing that now sigu second half of the year, right? Last time maskhuluma kumvelaphi, there was a time like where you touched based guma months, you know, like every month has its own significant, you know, and every month like guze ibe labeled. You know, it's because of a certain background or because of a certain, you know, aspect. And that's how to put it, ne?
Yeah.
But the question I want to ask you is, seeing that it's the second month, right, and it's the second half of the year, and imagine sigu June, right, which we've covered the whole 6 months. What is this month, and what is the significance of this month? And also, how can people prepare, or how can we prepare ourselves, you know, for the next coming month, knowing what month this is?
Okay, ngihlale ngicacisa kubantu lento ukuthi thina siyimvelo, sixhumeke, abantu abamnyama baxhumeke kakhulu kuyimvelo. Baxhumeke kakhulu kuyimvelo. So masibuka back, sibuka indaba yokuthi sino January. uJanuary okumasingana la sisuke sisinga khona, sibuka ngapha eingadini zethu noma emasimini ethu ukuthi ikuphi ke manje osekulungela ukuthi singakudla. Kuba uFebruary uNhlolanja la khona izisuke izilwane zigila imikhuba ethize nani. Bese siyabuya siza kuNdasa okuMarch la kusuka izingane ke lokudle kade sikubheka ngomasingana.
So start from January
umasingana
and then we skip to February.
No, February uNhlolanja.
uNhlolanja. Okay.
Yeah, bese siza kuNdasa okuMarch la khona izingane izisuke idansazela zijabulela lokhakudla kwamasingana ngalesa sikhathi. Bese siyabuya siza kuphi? Sibuye size kulokhunjana, sibuye size ngibasa. uApril ke loyo la khona kusuke sekuqala ukubanda. Mangabe sekuqala ukubanda ke ila khona sesifuna khona ukufudumala ngoba kuzongena amakhasi. Bese kuba uMay uNhlaba kusuke sekufika umoya ohlabayo ke manje osigodolisayo njengoba siphuma kona nje manje kade siwuzwa ngolokhunjana ngoMay. Umoya ohlabayo lethu olethwa amakhasi. Bese kuba uNhlangulana lo esikuyena ke manje uJune.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, bese ke sisiza kuJuni ke lo esikuwona okuNhlangulana la khona imvelo isuke izilahla amahlamvu phansi iqala kabusha.
I'm not sure if I'm following. So
okay, sithe angithi umasingana uJanuary. Sathi uNhlol siqhubeke. Sathi uFebruary uNhlolanja.
Sure.
Sathi uMarch uNdasa la ingane idansazela khona. Sathi uMay uNhlaba la kusuke kunolokhunjana kunomoya. Sathi uApril ubani uMbasa
Okay.
Ngoba kusuke shuthi it's April May yangithi suthi masuka ngindasa sithi April umbasa kuyabaswa manje kuyabanda bese sithi May unhlaba kunomoya ohlabayo manje kungena amakhaza bese sithi lenyanga esikuyona uJune so kuzoba namakhaza ke manje imvelo ilahla ilokhunjana ilahla amabhece phansi okusho ukuthi ilahla amahlamvu phansi ilungiselela uqala kabusha mangabe suke sekuqala lapha umandulo okuSeptember isiyandulela isiqala kabusha yabo so imvelo si connected kakhulu nayo ingakho noma sikhuleka kumele sikhuleke sibuye sibheke nemvelo ngoba nangalesikhathi samanje usangathi mawukhuleka besuthi inkosi kuzo zonke ngalesikhathi imvelo yakho ilahla yonke into ilindele uqala kabusha nami ngiyacela ukulahla yonke into ewubumnyama empilweni yami ngiqale kabusha preach yabo ngiqale kabusha nami ngoba nansi imvelo phela yenza njalo and mina ngiconnectile nemvelo so imvelo ayithi mayenza ukuthize nami ngicela ukwenza ukuthize ukuhambisana nayo bese ngiyaphila
so basically into eshoyo ukuthi le month le ibaleke ngale ndlela whereby it's a restart
yebo ilungiselela ke manje ke uqala kabusha yabo ingakho even na spiritually ngihlale ngibatshena abantu mina ukuthi kunama ups and down because simvelo this is nature so if you wanna be rich forever as a pastor unenkinga ya unenkinga because imvelo isho njalo ithi kumele kube kuhle kube kubi ukuze uzokwazi ukukhula if you are in nature kufundisa kanjalo ukuthi you can be broke today tomorrow ube nemali ube broke that's life so if you want to be rich forever wenza ngani
you know like because also the last time Masonke you spoke about there's a lot but I want to touch based on the cleansing right and ngifuna ukuthi sihlanganise with this month right since this month it's a reset month where like you are letting go of all the things that happened gule first 6 months or the first 5 months you know preparing for the next coming month which is obviously you know July going to December you know but obviously we would say maybe from June to July it's basically a month of reset you know like a month of rebirth so I want us to link cleansing and this month according to and like your sort of understanding right how does one then reset themselves since this month is the month yo qala kabusha I'm not sure if it's a broader question but
usongenisa spiritually ke
yes
okay ukuzihlanza kuyahlukahlukana kuya ngomuntu ukuthi umbulelwe kuphi ngizoqala lapho kodwa ke akukho ukuzihlanza okudlula amanzi ngaphambi kokuba kwenzeke yonke into ngoba amanzi ayimpilo so ila uqala khona kwamanje masingakhuluma nawe sithi ungcolile noma ufuna ukuphuma manje uye town la uzoqala khona esemanzini uzigeze nje ngamanzi bese ke uyasuka ke lapho usuyazibona ukuthi hayi sengingcono noma ngingekho clean 100% ingakho lokhunjana neinsipho ezithize zisho ukuthi zo 99% azibona 100% yabo because kukancane ukuthi yonke into uthi 100% isuke yazi nayo ukuthi mhlawumbe ungcola kwabantu kuyahlukana so ngeke size senze 100% kumuntu ngoba indlela angcole ngayo sibanibani ngeke izifane nobani so amanzi
so bafo usasho ukuthi the first cleansing is amanzi
yebo
ukuthanda
amanzi usifundise nje amanzi wasifundisa amanzi uyosizakala kakhulu amanzi nje amile bafo amile
so because like ngifuna we break it down you know like because I think cleansing is broad you know there's obviously cleansing of well I assume there's cleansing for women and then there's cleansing for men unless if you know right now be off the mics you were saying like sometimes cleansing is not even that deep ukuzithanda komuntu.
Ukuzithanda komuntu ikasibuyela back isithi nje mina ngiphupha kanzima kunzima amaphupha ami angihlezi kunje bese sibuyele ekuthenini ingubo zokulala iwashiwe zike zawashwa zona ngoba phela siyochaza ezinye zezinto kuze kushona ilanga kanti omunye umuntu nokungazithandi kudlala indima ethize. So nakho ukuzithanda kubalekile. Yabo le jacket engiyifakile mangabe ngingayiwashile izoloku ingincinza ngiyoze ngithi ngafika kuyi podcast hayi ngangezwe kahle ngathi kwakunembungulu kanti cha mina ngifike nazo. Mina
because awashanga
angwashanga and uzokwenza lokho kube iphutha lakho akulona iphutha lakho wena uyazazi ukuthi la khona osebenzela khona kuhlanzekile ku clean shuthi indaba ifike nawe yabo. So leyo nto ayidingeke ezinye zezinto kunezinto ekungamele si waste isikhathi mhlambe zize iprofethwe zize ziyobhulelwa ngoba even nawo amaphupho abantu mfowethu bayakhombiswa emaphupheni ezinye zezinto but angakholelwa afuna ukutshena umuntu asuke eze kusibani banthizeni bese ethi omunye ukuze ngiqale ngikuhlolele lethu 300 rand bese uyawukhipha bese kutshena the very same thing oyiphuphile. Usuhambile u300 rand because wena ufuna umuntu ozokutshena
ozoyiconfirm
awukholelwe ekuthenini itho because ngihlale ngisho mina ngithi ithongo lakho li powerful in another way ephupheni because
okay
yabo ngoba indlela el powerful ngayo linamandla ekuthenini ngakwazi ukudlulisa umyalezo othize ngale mfowethu akekho umuntu okutshena iphupho lakhe athi wena uphupha ukuthi nokuthi izolo kodwa wena oyongitshena iphupho lakho uthi ngiphupheni. That's how powerful it is. That means ila ithongo lakho lixhumana khona nawe ekuthenini la indaba uyitshenwa yimina straight awuyitshena omunye umuntu imina straight kodwa ke ngoba phela abantu bafuna ukuthi baze bezwe ngabantu bese yaphuma komuntu akhokhe leyo mali abuyele back atshenwe the very same lokhu njalo.
So let's break down here the cleansing side of things, right? We do know that there's a lot of things that are happening in this world. Women go through a miscarriage and there's this saying also that sex is a spiritual thing. And I feel like nowadays as young people we are so engaged into multiple partners. We are so in a high sex drive and a high sex drive here too. We find ourselves sleeping with all different kinds of people. You understand? So how important and what role does cleansing or how can one even cleanse themselves? But let's start from the woman's side and then we'll also get into amachita.
Kumina ngeke ngize ngisho ngithi women's side or men's side because ukuzihlanza into eyodwa okuwukuthi amanzi are the main. Then ke bese kubhekana naleso simo ekuthenini ngoba ngisho umuntu osebenzisa umuthi asithi mhlambe igobongo angithi nalo impande
those are big terms.
Impande
like zamani ohleli yazibuza ukuthi
ngoba igobongo bekuyimpande wena mfowethu ebesetshenziswe emandulo for insizwa ukuzicleana ukuze ithandeke intombi. So iyaseke yabuya ke yeza ngalako ngokwedlozi nakho konke lokho ekuthenini uyasihlanza kodwa ukusihlambulula kwakhona ekugcineni kuthinta amanzi fanele lempande uyihlanganise namanzi ukuze ukwazi ukusihlanza ngoba ngeke uzukwazi ukuvela uzihlanze ngayo yodwa isiginqikela kuwena kodwa mayisihlangene namanzi okusho ukuthi amanzi are the powerful. Amanzi are the first step masikhuluma indaba yokuhlanza ingakho ngisho sinezithunywa zikamenzi umveli inqanga unezithunywa zakhe azibeke eduze kwakho ukuthi ezibhekela izinto ezithize kwaZulu sinethongo likama ithongo likama elibhekeni inzalo phakathi kwesizwe sabantu libhekela inzalo libhekela uthando nazo zonke lezo zinto bese kuba ithongo lesibili leli ke siqondene nalo ke njengamanje ithongo likaNomhoyi eliletha inhlanzeko masikhuluma ngenhlanzeko and masibheka ukujula kwalo lisondela kakhulu emanzini ngoba inhlanzeko ithinta amanzi bese kuba khona elikaNomkhubulwana eningi bayalazi ke ngoba bebeke bezwe ngalo nasemandulo okuye lemvula yabo elilethe imvula okwaziwa kahle ukuthi makusondelele lithongo phakathi kwekhaya akunandlala noma phakathi kwesizwe akunandlala ingakho isizwe noma sasesibhuqabhuqwe indlala emandulo intombi ziyokhuleka ethongweni la nomkhubulwane entabeni bese zicela imvula ngalesikhathi yehlela ngithi inisela izitshalo ezitshaliwe bese kuphuma ukudla bese kuyadliwa okusho ukuthi ayisekho indlala lapho yabo kube ithongo lika Sodomo kanjalo elibhekela impumelelo nokukhanya kwakho kube ithongo lika Somandla udondolo likamoya lakho nuphela amandla ngokamoya umemeza ithongo lamandla bese liyakusukumisa kube ithongo lika Mlenze emunye okuwumkhonto nehawu lakho namawuhlaselwa izimpi umemeze bese liyakusingatha bese kuba umveli inqango owesikhombisa ngoba umkhombo weindlela phakathi kwempilo
which is God, right?
Umveli inqango yeah so kanjalo so masithinta indaba yenhlanzeko sithinta vele indaba yokuhlanzeka uhlanzeka ngani ngamanzi ingakho ubona abantu abaningi kiwe emanzini kwenzakalani because bakholelwa ukuthi lelithongo likaNomhoyi imaliza nenhlanzeko lithinta amanzi kakhulu bese sibuya lana ke embuzweni okwabuza ukuthi njengoba silazi ucansi ukuthi linomthelelo omngakanani empilweni zethu na spiritual mfowethu sinama souls emzimbeni wethu sinama souls wake wathi uJoshua Mamponga enye ingcitha buchopho yaseZimbabwe mangaphosisi yathi sine cable and this cable mangabe uyoyifaka endaweni ethize just know ukuthi uyofaka icable ezobuilda i-new generation so mawulala nomuntu wesifazane just know ukuthi awuwedwa unamathonga akho nama souls akwena okwamathongo nawo yonke leyo by the time ufaka leyo cable uyifaka to build the next generation so i generation ozoyikhanda so mawukuthi uzolala nomuntu ongamthandi just know ukuthi uzobuild i generation engekizi uyithande kwaye wena engekithando nayisizwe because ngalesikhathi uyenza beungathandi yabo so mangabe uqala wenza zonke lezo zinto ama souls lawa ngaphakathi njengoba sikwazi ukwakha abantwana it's because ekusuke eqhuma isoul ethize ngaphakathi yaphuma yathi ngiyokwakha umntwana ehlangana nenye isoul kwafomeka umntwana kwaphuma yabo uphinde uhlala uphinde ube nomunye umntwana kuphinde kuphume enye isoul futhi that means kunama souls ngaphakathi kwena aloke ephuma ukuyobuilda a future so just know ukuthi if you are putting this cable kumuntu wesifazane isoul leyo yabo ingakho ngibuye ngibe nokudideka mangabe kukhulunywa abantu besifazane laba eindaweni ezithize kuthiwa bayathengwa bayadayisa nebadayisa ngemzimba cause mawufika lapha awusibuzi sibongo ufika ugibele nje phezulu kwadadweni uthule phansi yeah Ibela phezulu kwadadweni uthule phansi then bese kuba nezinto eziningi ezigcina sezenzeka ezama damages bese sibuyela ke kwizinto zesintu nezethongo kube ngathi zinzima zinjani kanti cha lobo mzima vele budalekile budalwa yithina namaphutha esiwenzayo wena mawusuka ucabanga ukuthi ulala nomunye umuntu kwakheka ingane bese ujika uyabaleka lapho ubaba ongabe responsible ulindele ukuthi kwenzeke igameke kanjani ingane mayikhula ine form enganasi isandla sikababa ingakwazi ukulalela fanele siblame bani wena baba because by the time ikhula you were not there ekuthenini uyifaka endleleni ukuthi ingane ke yomuntu wesilisa ikhuliswa kanjani umuntu wesifazane ikhuliswa kanjani so ingane it's always idinga abantu ababili ngazo zonke ikhathi idinga abantu ababili because umama unothando kakhulu ukahluleka ukushaya ingane kwesinye isikhathi ngisho yona kanti ubaba ufika afaka induku uthi uqhamuka mawubaba ingane ikubona emehlweni ukuthi lento awuyifuni ungakakhuluma ukuveza nje amehlako iyabona ingane ukuthi ayi ubaba akabhedelwa namhlanje akayifuni leyo nto so uyabona ukuthi inama side awu2 ekhula ngawe ekuthenini ngiyamaza umuntu uma isengasayifuni into ethize ukuthi yilento ebiyenziwe ubaba mawukuthi sedinwa into ethize akasayifuni then ngiyashintsha angisayenzi leyo nto ekade lokhunje so
hey it's so for someone that feels like you know like maybe they've been feeling with you know maybe like impilo yabasinda manje and they starting to look back ukuthi khane ngalala nobani nemaye like ngiyacabanga ukuthi I might have taken because sometimes like you know nokuhlala nabafowethu and then ukuthi actually ukuthi yo ngine ngithola ukuthi umuntu oso you know wenze into eso you know and like ubone now man good time man like akusena mpilo la, not because of like uyagula uphethwa bo AIDS or yini, but because of maybe sika adopted some certain spirits, from that particular person. You know, how do they go about cleansing themselves, so that they can reform themselves babuye babe yiwo futhi again?
Okay, ingakho eBhayibhelini kwakunale part le ethi ungcono ukuthi angiyazi yona yipi kahle, but ethi kungcono umuntu one engazi kunomuntu owona azi. Yabo, ngoba zonke lezo zimo sidlule kuzona, including mina I've been grown manje ngezinye zezimo ezingikhulisile. Nami ngiube umuntu odlulile lapha, nami I've been a teenage. Mhlambe people can hear me ngikhuluma kanje but hey lo perfect no, I'm not perfect. Ngidlulile kulezi zinto, ngazibona izange ngisebenzela, then ngase ngakhula because sina ama side awu2 emhlabeni. Kune side lokukhanya ne side lobumnyama. Kunabantu abazi ukuthi base sidini lobumnyama and they keep enjoying that. Yabo, kunabantu abase sidini lokukhanya abazi kahle ukuthi ngiyasaba ukwelela ngale because of 1 2 3. So most of the time mangabe usuku ukhulu uyawela kulama side obumnyama until you grow enough ukuthi no, into ethize nento ethize bengayona. Then now I start to change. That's why we have ama traditional healers, we have aba prophets kanjalo in order ukuthi mawusufuna change ethize noma mawusucabanga indaba yo cleansing and all those things, ngingaqala kuphi then ngikwazi ukulokhunja. And mangabe ukwenza lokho, yes, ama souls akade ehleli noma imoya yobumnyama will start to remove kuwena, then kube nezinye izinto ozilokhunjayo. Because ngihlale ngitshena abantu mina ngithi if you are spiritual gifted, it doesn't make you rich. It doesn't make you rich.
Preach.
It doesn't make you rich in fact, and people believe ukuthi fanele kuze ngisize umuntu kumele ngimbone epaka imoto ezu7 noma ezu8. That's where I can see ukuthi kunosizo lapha kunamandla nani. But people who are deeply I've been looking abantu aba powerful in South Africa and in Africa, who are so powerful spiritually, but they were not rich, but they are powerful even namanje basahlonishwa. For example, Isanusi ubaba uCredo Muthu. Bab Credo Muthu was so powerful. So even as a writer, he was so powerful as a writer. But in that side of being a writer, was he rich?
No, he wasn't.
Not.
He wasn't.
Even if you go back ubukumuzi wakhe, he was not rich, but he was so powerful. Ukubekwa komunye umuntu as powerful as he is, kwakufanele ngabe rich, kwakufanele ngabe wavula ibandla lakhe elikhulu ngendlela eyisimanga abantu bakhonza nani, because why understand is spirituality and why nikezwe ihlo lokubona phambili. Yabo, so noma abantu babengamlaleli ke manje, because people always praise you when you are somewhere. Even now right now I'm saying these things, kunabanye abantu abangeke basithathe serious, but in 10 years back bazobuya bethi ayibo sibona umuntu othize, waye nawe Mr Parkman, hey nake naxhumana nani. Yabo, ayibo wena uqala ukusebenza nalo, which year was this? No, this was 2022. Wow, uqala ukwazana, but it was the second episode lapho. The first one beniyenze nini? Ngo 2020 ba. So uyayibona lento ukuthi people then start realizing ukuthi ish ukube ngathola opportunity naye nam by that time, because maybe by that time engizobe ngikuyona uzobe ngasakwazi ukuthola opportunity nami ukuthi sihlale kanje sidinga into ekanje because of izinto ezithize, yabo. So hey,
yes, it's broad, man. It's broad. So how has music played a role in terms of like your upbringing, and what is your intention with the music that you're doing, or the artistry yako, your healing, like yini my intentions wako?
Okay, before ngenze music, I was already find out ukuthi I'm a spiritual healer person, ne? So
how did you find out?
No mfethu kunezinye izinto ongeke uzuzitshenwe umuntu ne
Sure.
Yeah kufana nemoya ethize ngeke utshenwe umuntu kwesinye isikhathi ukuthi umbethwe imoya ethize uzozibonela wena ngendlela okwenzeka ngayo ukuthi kushuthi ukuthi ekuthize uzozibonela ukuthi why mina ngibona izinto ezithize why ngibona isalukwazi esithize mangiqhweba uPacman ngithi uyasibona ngasiboni. That means kunat le different ekhona between mina naye. Yabo why mina I've been asking that question so many times. Mina bengiye emasontweni mfowethu uthola ukuthi umfundisi uyabathinta eziphongweni bawaphansi and mina mayengithinta ngiwe. And sometimes I even feel sad ukuthi how mina why ingawe but ngeke ngiforce ukuthi ngiwe but why ingawe. Yabo why ingawi then abanye mangabe ngisondele eduze kwabo mhlambe especially because bekuba amasonto isikhathi esiningi bengakaze kube isangoma. In my life I've never go to a traditional healer ngoqe phansi ngithi so and so yabo but bekube emasontweni mhlawumbe uthola ukuthi emasontweni mama ngabe ngikhulekelwa nananthiwa hey lo mntwana umbethwe kakhulu but I didn't even understand yabo umbethwe kakhulu so mina I'm expecting ukuthi umuntu angitshene ukuthi wena unenkinga ukuthi no ukuthi because that's what we always expect yabo so zonke lezo zinto I've been looking at them ngabona ukuthi no this is the type of person I am yabo and ezinye zezinto njengoba ngisho ngithi amaphupho are so powerful they show you who you are and what is the way forward. That's why you need to fight ukuthi uyaphupha uyakhohlwa. I always tell people ukuthi don't be so excited ekutheni namaphupho waphuphayo bese uyawakhohlwa because that means ivision yakho eyaphambili inokulahleka somehow because nomthakathi uzombona khona la emaphupheni akho ukuthi ayusibani uwenza into ethize nani yabo so I've been in that. Then when it comes to music ngaqale nganesifiso sokubhala incwadi to teach people izinto engisikhuluma manje but angikwazanga by that time because bengiqhamuka emndenini ongenayo imali ethize ekuthenini incwadi uyazi mawupublisha mawukhokhela ama editor and all those things kuba imali engaka yabo so the aim was ukuthi okay let me do it through music because through music you can be able to go to a studio and do 1 2 3 then izinto zenzeke ngendlela. That's where I started to build ama projects anjengomvelaphi nawo wonke lama single ebengiloke ngwakhipha nani ukuthi no let me choose into abantu abayithanda kakhulu. I can be able to go eclubini ngifike ngibachazele ngale message ebengifuna ukuyidlulisa because if I go eclubini nencwadi no one will say hey ngizoyifunda nani yabo even true. Some of the things engisikhuluma manje izinto engisuke ngifisa ukuyikhuluma ngomeni uthola ukuthi even nakuona music the time is very short ukuthi ngakwazi ukuchaza kulo 4 minutes or 3 minutes wengoma izinto engisafuna ukuyikhuluma kubantu.
So that's why like isn't they fun ama podcast isibalekile yabona
mfowethu yeah kumina nje ziyangivulela ekuthenini now ngiyichaze ngendlela lento kungasawu kubi because imvelaphi intro siyakwamukela it's an intro that highlights you but it doesn't give you
yabo you know like funny enough about that episode or that EP specifically is that like uhambe uphinde ubuyele emuva
mfowethu yeah
like it's ungayilalela today uhambe uze man ukuthi no man indlebe is itching yeah uphinde ubuyele because that's what happened to me the last time mangokutext ngokubuza ukuthi like I felt like you guys never promoted imvelaphi to that extent because as I went on listening there were things that I kept on discovering. You know, there were things that I kept on feeling. And that's when you also understand, which, you know, like when it comes to the power of music, it also goes hand in hand with Uguchugupi empilweni yakho. You know, you might miss something today because awukolab, you know, but 2 years down the line, you relate.
Uguti no.
You know?
Yeah, even got music. In fact, we have people who were spiritual gifted through music but in mhlawumbe uthola ukuthi abantu they didn't discover that babona that's why zihlale zibuyele zenziwe ama remix. If you can go back and look at Lady Smith Black Mambazo mayizothi emaweni weba silale maweni weba silale maweni webaba silale maweni we baba silale maweni. So zonke lezo ingoma it reminds you uthi mawuhlala phansi usho ukuthi kwakulalwe maweni kwenze njani, because ubuka izimpi zo June 16 and all those things ubuka ukuthi oh hey kwakulalwe maweni ngalezi zimo ezithize nani. So kwakungemnandi kodwa at the same time spiritually kwakulokhu nje, ngoba even if you are spiritual gifted still uyalala emaweni ngezimo ezithize sokuhlangabezana nazo.
Mzilankhatha, my brother, I'm looking at the time, angifuna ushawe isikhathi ne.
Yeah.
What is Mzilankhatha busy with and where can people get a hold of you?
Kusaloke nje kuMzilankhatha kuma social media, uMzilankhatha kuyi personal account uSiyabonga Phelothana Ncube. Then inamba iyashiwa la ekhaya noma uyishiwa
ukuthi kuphuma ku
ukuthi inamba basuke baxinane ngcono mabezongithola kuma social media. Yeah. Then kokunye ke sekuyoqhubeka ngawa ama podcast ngoba soloke sibonana njalo. So engibhizi manje uhlelo lami bekukhipha another project.
Okay.
Yabo, so
which we are waiting.
Yabo, which you guys are waiting, and kubhaliwe kuqediwe kushoda nje kungene studio kulungisa ezinye zezinto nazo zonke lezo zinto. Yabo, so bekuyilokho kwamanje to release more music and to have more podcast ukukhuluma nabantu. Ujabule nana kule ujabulile, so nanokuthola and more interviews so we can be able ukukhuluma nabantu. And another thing ke ngisuke ngabanjwa izinto ze spirituality, sometimes ke nazi izinto ze spirituality you end up ngesikhathi ositholayo usiza abantu nazo zonke lezo zinto. So u end up uthola ukuthi no music makufanele ungene studio naba abantu abathize bamile badinga usizo, so ngeke kuze kuhamba umphefumulo emhlabeni ngenxa ukuthi wena ubuse studio wenza music nazo zonke lezo zinto, kodwa nje ukuphila kuloko khona njalo.
All right, and then like your words of encouragement 2022, here in lo mlayezo that you would like to give people just moving into the 6 months asel.
Ukuziphatha kwabantu mfowethu ngikhathazekile ngendlela esiyiphethe ngayo. Ngikhathazekile mfowethu indlela okubulawa ngayo abantu nazo zonke lezo zinto ziyalimala, and phela thina mfowethu sinezingane zamantombazane sibukela ikusasa lazo ukuthi mangabe lizokhula emhlabeni onje la khona uzwa kuthiwa izingane ezincane ziyafuneka, angazi sibeletho sazo zikwazi ukwenza izinto ezithize. Kuyalimaza lokho because at the end of the day abantwana laba bazoba ifuture, abantwana laba bazolungisa ezinye zezinto. Yabo, so ngizoyisho nje lento, I had a vision, a very powerful vision ukuthi inzalo yabantwana abeza manje they are so spiritual powerful, more than any person okhona njengamanje emhlabeni ongamcabanga ukuthi upowerful. Youth abantwana bezayo mfowethu they are more powerful. I think nabantu abenza izinto zobumnyama they see ukuthi lenzalo ezayo inamandla kangakanani, so let's try to kill it in order ukuthi singazitholi, ngoba angithi kunalento mfowethu ukuthi ligotshwa lisemanzi uyibona into iseza. Ingakho nomuntu osuke ekuthakatha mfowethu wena ucabanga ukuthi ungithakathelani ngoba nginalutho. No, ubona le basari ezophuma, uyazi ukuthi once le basari yaphuma there is no way ukuthi ngambamba. Yabo, so angambambe before iphume. So ukuphila ukugcinwa kwabantu ukuvikeleka kweingane ngiloke ngikukhulekise njalo ke lokho ukuthi ngiyafisa izingane zethu inzalo yethu isikeleleke kulomhlaba, nabantu bake bashintshe ngoba izinto ezenzeka phakathi kwezwe lethu zibhlungu kakhulu mfoko ababa.
Yeah man, I think with that said man, you know, let me just extend my thank yous, you know, to say thank you so much once again, you know, for popping by and just sharing your time, your precious time, Nati. You know, I know you're heading somewhere to do some artistry work, you know, as usual. And I also appreciate you because you've always shown up whenever like I hit you up with a call, whether it be the podcast itself or whether it be the speaker box session. You know, you always, you know, extend your generosity, and you always come and do what you love, you know. And with you doing what we love, Tina, we find strength and we grow from, you know, your energy. So I'd like to appreciate you and say thank you, Sibonga kakhulu, for just always, you know, being willing to share your wisdom, being willing to be an open book that we can learn from. So yeah, man, I hope to all the authentics who are going to get a chance to listen to this episode, I hope it becomes a book that now and then you can always reference from, you know, from your boy, from your driver or Pac-Man, your certified podcast king. Pac-Man, Mr. 95 in Tambo Yomtlakasi, waiting to Zochokega. I'll catch you on another episode. You can follow us on the People's Journal Podcast on Facebook, TPJ_podcast on Instagram. And yeah, you can stream this podcast, Spotify and all the other streaming platforms. Let's catch each other on the next episode. Asibonge Mzilankhatha.
Achube. Achube.